A self-built revolution is sweeping the country.
This is like a new life form that is growing uncontrollably. It's a town without planning.
What started as an experiment at Graven Hill in Oxfordshire, where plots of land were sold to aspiring self-builders by the council,
This is monumental.
has caught the imagination of local authorities across the UK. It's happening in Glasgow, where Natasha Huck, my co-presenter, and I are following an exciting scheme near the city centre, where people have been allowed to build their wildest ideas.
So dramatic, and it kind of peaks to the sky.
And now, the city of York is piloting its own creative and ambitious project.
The brickwork is really well done. It excites me.
Although, the self-built journey can be fraught with stress and difficulty.
They don't fit. I'm boiling on the inside.
Well, the wind's grabbed hold of it.
It's already there. We need to get the cherry picker out.
This week, in York, we're following Jane and Richard, a couple who've recently met and who are now building houses 3 doors down from each other on the same street.
I think it's a really nice way to transition to being closer together. It's nicer than rushing.
She's going to be looking at you, wanting to know what your taste is. And if what she sees is a white kitchen unit and cream walls, she's going to be so disappointed.
Richard and Jane have lived in Yorkshire all their lives, and they're both out of previous relationships and with children. They found each other through the magic of the internet.
I met Jane online dating, my very first ever attempt at doing online dating.
I was ready to give up. I've had a look under all the rocks, there's nothing there. And then, I don't know why, but I never ever made the first move, but I saw Rich and liked him and smiled. I thought, oh, why not? I'll discover he's unimpressive when I look under his rock.
Ooh, But joking apart, being in a new relationship is a big step for Jane. She's divorced from her previous partner after years of living in a house which became as broken down as their relationship.
Drop a bit more salt and pepper. We had holes in the ceiling in the kitchen. There's a hole in the wall where the boiler used to be, and holes in the carpets up the stairs. Hard as you try, you know it's never clean and it's never nice. I kind of felt that people judged me on it. You know, if people did come round, they'd be like, oh my God, she lives in a house like this, it's awful.
Having made do for years, when the chance came up to take part in York City Council's pilot self-build scheme, she leapt at it.
This is it?
This is my plot.
Nice.
Here, at Lowfield Green, 2 miles from the city centre, 6 self-built plots have been sold for under £100,000 apiece to budding self-builders.
How big is it?
I think it's about 23 metres by 9 metres.
And your house sits... it's got to be fairly full width because it's not the widest plot.
Yeah, so a metre from each boundary.
Yeah. And what are you building?
3-storey, 5-bed, very modern, contemporary-looking house. I wanted something that was going to be really functional and easy to live life in. So utility room, things like that. Well, I want it to be cool and stylish and comfortable as well, and a home. Having lived in compromised homes, I want a home that really functions well and it's easy to live in.
But that also doesn't have wires dangling and that is finished and decorated and which you love and enjoy and see as your own.
And when I do sit down to relax, it's a nice place to be and welcoming and warm, Yeah.
Can I ask what the budget is?
I've got a budget of 300,000 for the actual build, and then I bought the land separately.
So 300,000, including your foundations, that's quite, you know, focusing. You've got to work hard to contain the budget there, haven't you?
Yeah.
Are you going to drive it? Are you going to project manage?
Yes.
Are you working at the moment?
Yes.
Full-time?
Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
Full-time job, 3 children. Yeah, just running around with their clubs and things.
Richard and Jane have used the same architect to design their homes and the same construction system. They're using SIPs, structurally insulated panels to build their houses. Big slabs of wood, pre-made in a factory in Yorkshire, then taken to site and put up in days. On the outside, Jane's will have brick slips, white render and elegant cladding. Richard's will similarly be rendered white with wooden cladding, but he's gone for a daring giant skylight with 5 smaller roof lights to boot. Inside Jane's, at the front of the house on the ground floor, there'll be a living room, cloakroom and utility space. At the back of the house, a beautiful kitchen. There's also a dining area and family space and 2 desks for when Richard wants to come over to work from home. The stairs lead up to 2 bedrooms, a bathroom and Jane's master suite with a walk-in wardrobe and a balcony to overlook the garden. On the top floor, there'll be a bedroom for her eldest daughter, a bathroom and another bedroom with a smaller balcony. Richard's house, meanwhile, will contain a lounge with a full-length window that looks onto the street, a small toilet, a utility room, and an open-plan kitchen, living and family space with a double-height void above it. Upstairs, there'll be a home office area, a spare bedroom, a family bathroom, and a main bedroom and bathroom, also with a walk-in wardrobe. On the second floor, there'll be 2 generous bedrooms for his kids, storage space, and a large games room. The SIPS company are programmed to start work in a month's time, but Jane needs to get her foundations in first.
Who was doing the groundworks for you?
I've really struggled to find people. I've reached out probably to about 15 ground workers and managed to only get I think only 2 quotes back I've got.
I don't believe this.
And massive waits.
But I'd have thought the council would be putting you in touch and saying, look, 6 plots, you need 6 sets of foundations, let's go for one contractor.
We have been on group emails together.
I'm just thinking, if you're having difficulty getting your groundworks, then if you go for 6, then actually you open up the interest in the market and you might get a discount for volume even.
While Jane hunts for a ground worker, her neighbour, Nicola, 4 doors down, is powering ahead with her traditional brick home. She's built up to the 1st floor, but now has to wait for the wooden joists to arrive.
Our delay in the wood meant that there's been a bit of a pause and a gap. People on site that have had trouble getting the ground workers. There's been a bit of a conversation over our group WhatsApp about if there was any availability anywhere.
So, she's offered her building team to help with the groundworks.
It's been nice to know that we've been able to help out a little bit with giving a contact to somebody that we know we trust and that we're happy to recommend as well.
Jane is first in line to have almost 60 tons of concrete pumped into the foundations. For luck, she's taken extra precautions to ensure a smooth build.
When I came the other night to check out the footings being dug, I threw in a lucky penny to go under the concrete. So hope that works and it doesn't fall down.
It is a strange form of building insurance, but whatever works. Richard's not started building yet, but he doesn't care. He's in love.
Cutting to the chase, forget about the project. You've got it together with Jane.
I have got it together with Jane. So she'd bought a plot. She said to me, I think on date 2, that, oh, by the way, I'm building my own house.
That I find quite an exciting thing in a potential partner, don't you? And particularly one who you might not expect to be doing that self-empowered thing.
Well, yeah, with 3 kids.
Did you find it quite sexy?
I did. I thought this is a good thing to have in a partner, to be doing something so exciting.
Yeah.
You know, not everyone does it, but most people say they want to do it. So I was like, brilliant. And then she said, oh, I think there's another plot available. Gave me the website.
You must have had a conversation about the fact that you're doubling up.
Yeah, of course. So when we first started to do this, we realised we were too early in our relationship to live together. You know, we've got 5 kids between us.
Wow.
So
It's a proper blended family.
So we couldn't inflict each other on our children so soon.
That is a really good argument. And what you're effectively doing is, in building 2 houses, you're building not just 2 homes, but actually just enough bedroom space to accommodate the children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perhaps when they are both finished, we'll have one house for the children, and then one house for Jane and I.
That's one way of looking at it, isn't it?
The houses will be similar in size and scale, although Richard has evolved his design.
I am building a 5 bedrooms, 3 stories, fairly modern, contemporary. But initially it was a 2-story, so I thought I may as well just make the most of the overall space.
Yeah, sure.
So I just said, can you add in a couple more bedrooms, an office, just basically fill the space up.
How much is it all going to cost you? Do you know? Have you costed it all out?
I'm hoping everything all in about 320.
Okay.
But I think it's very tight.
Richard's budgeted for building the 3rd floor, just not how he's going to fit it out. It's too late to do anything now, though, as the factory in Huddersfield has started to make the structurally insulated panels of the walls of the house. These are giant sterling board sandwiches with foam in the middle to make the walls and the floors. They're cut to size by computer before being stacked ready for shipping. In the run-up to Christmas, the panels arrive to be put up by a team of expert builders. The outer wall panels are lifted up one by one into place, glued, and then more panels are added to them. The stud timber walls for the inside have been ready-made. They just slot in too. It's an incredibly neat, efficient system, although Jane has been hit with an unexpected cost for it.
I have had to find an extra £10,000. So due for unforeseeable circumstances to do with the price of timber around the world, which has been a global issue, they've had to increase the price just to be able to fulfil the order.
It is a lot of money for someone on a tight budget.
Hi.
Hi, Kevin.
Hello, lovebirds. How are you? Quite romantic, isn't it, to think of these 2 buildings passing through the same factory
It
as
is.
a couple?
Yeah.
Do you worry about money?
I do, and you have to be careful with money, but I'll compromise where I can, but I'm not in a position to start negotiating on the price of timber or steel, so I can't affect that. I have to just accept whatever that is.
You'll figure it out later, in other words.
If I get near the end and I'm running out of money, I'll have to have a cheaper bathroom, cheaper tiles, but Rich worries a lot more than me.
The idea of building not 1, but 2 houses at the same time, enduring all these stresses and sort of, you know, discovering each other in a relationship, that's uncommon. That's not normal, is it?
Yeah, well, you don't normally get together with someone and within the first 2 years you're kind of building a house separately.
Put together.
And together, yeah. It helps that we're building very similar houses. We're using a lot of the same companies.
Yeah, the stresses are shared, aren't they? Because whatever one of us is finding difficult, the other knows that they're probably going to find difficult when they get to that stage as well.
Yeah.
Building a house with a partner, someone you trust, would seem to offer a kind of template for how group self-build should work, where you can offer each other support, understanding, and practical help.
It's romantic, isn't it? You meet someone, you decide to build a house together, you go on this journey and you discover hidden depths. You develop new admiration for each other, for what you bring and the reserves that you have. You get to know each other better and you emerge stronger as a result. Oh, that's one outcome. The other is, of course, is that you fall out terribly and you end up living in the same street 2 doors down from each other. Oh, wait, that's what Richard and Jane are doing.
Richard has been renting his house in York for the last few years. And for him, self-building at Lowfield Green is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him and his kids.
What's your favourite one of all of these?
It's just always been a bit on the small side. I want them to have a proper space. I want them to feel like it's their room and not to come and just have a bed and a few bits and bobs lying around. It's not just life in a new house for me and the children, it's life. It's a stepping stone to be near Jane.
The structure of Jane Sipp's house is now up and wrapped in a dark breather membrane. It's now Richard's turn. He's worried about the top floor, that he can't afford to plaster, paint or finish.
I think with it being 3 floors as well, best part 10 metres top of the roof, it's huge. It's a massive space. At the moment, when I see all the sort of bills that are coming in, it's going to be really tight.
Two weeks later, the frame is up.
I can't believe you've done so much. You've got the walls up, you've got the stud work walls up, you've got the steel up. Are your windows ordered?
Windows ordered. I'll get a nice amount of light. It's kind of longer and narrower than I would want a house, I think. So to bring in extra light is really key.
Yeah, well done for doing that. I think it's going to be necessary. You're going to value it.
Yeah.
When people are on the slab talking about their house, they're talking about the construction, they're talking about the phase, and the moment they get the thing up, they start talking about light. Because people suddenly realise, oh, hang on, I haven't got enough windows. I think here, though, you're doing well. Just not gloomy at all.
Getting light in is the easy bit. The hard part is working out who's living where.
It started off as me, my 2 kids, 3-bed house, maximise the space in terms of use the height, and now, yeah, but I will probably be at Jane's a lot.
What's your view about how much do you spend on a kitchen, on the bathrooms, on the staircase, on the carpets?
So at the moment, my thought process is to get a robust house, but a practical house. In a weird way, I don't want to fall too much in love with my own house here, because if it becomes my little space and my little oasis, then I become too attached to it.
But if you make it too bland, nobody wants it. Even contemporary hotel suites are still designed with an identity. There's something else here, Richard, which is that going forward, if you decide to make a life with Jane, you will never again have the opportunity to kit somewhere out to your taste.
That's very true.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make it your own.
There's a lot of pressure with that.
But she's also going to be looking at you, wanting to know what your taste is, how you define yourself in the material world. And if what she sees is a white kitchen unit and cream walls, she's going to be so disappointed.
Yeah, she'll be mortified.
While Richard figures out how to express himself to Jane through his taste and style, Jane is tending to some more practical arrangements. She's asked the builder to adjust the door frames to make them Richard-friendly.
Jane's slightly concerned with the heights. All the doors have been set for standard height at 6'6", and Jane's partner is 6'8". She was just a little bit concerned about him bumping his head, really. We're having to change them for taller ones.
There was not much space at all between Rich's head and the top of the door frames that have been put in. Can you imagine if I hadn't caught this now and then we moved in and you were coming round all the time and crowning the top of your head every time you moved to a different room?
A crucial extra 2 inches for Richard. But if he's going to be spending more time at Jane's, there are other questions.
How tall's your shower head?
We haven't established that yet, but I have got that in mind. And I need to buy a longer bed for you.
Yeah.
Jane, though, is just over 5 feet tall, so some things do need to stay at a normal height.
Coat hooks.
Coat hooks?
They can't be too high. Oh, you can have a high one.
I'm not ridiculously tall. I'm not classified as a giant.
However the living arrangements pan out, for both of them, the pace of the project is unrelenting. Jane's working all hours, juggling project management with the rest of her life.
So I'll share that with the fitter. It's draining. I do my day job, fitting everything in on an evening. There's no more watching telly for me. It's browsing various websites, getting emails sent off to get quotes. And I try to fit the house building either at lunchtime or I sit and do my research on an evening once I get the kids to bed.
She's also got to keep the household running, taking care of the day-to-day of looking after children
Have you got a spoon?
and catering for their needs.
Right, have a good day. I'll pick you up tonight from Joe's. Bye.
While, at the same time, unrelated to the project, negotiations with her former partner carry on.
When I first started planning this house, I had the children 100%. That's changed. We'll see how that pans out. You get upset for a bit and then you just carry on.
All on top of the mentally and physically exhausting process of self-building. It's a messy business too. There is one access road to the site, also used by the big diggers and dump trucks working on the other houses at Lowfield Green, churning up mud. And when it rains, it gets worse.
I'm standing in the drop-off and storage zone for the self-builders here. They're meant to be able to keep all of their materials on this site. Graven Hill, in comparison, actually begins to look like sort of self-build heaven, doesn't it?
Jane's certainly struggling to find places to put stuff.
So, your glazing is parked there, outside your house. And over here, the insulation is parked here. And
Yeah.
the third vehicle space is occupied by a pile of pallets. Oh, and then there's all this.
They're not mine.
Oh, they're not yours.
They belong next door.
That's next door's rubbish.
Yes.
Wowzer. It's quite a problem here, isn't it? Because all this stuff you need, it's normal to expect a space for storage.
Well, we have got a set-down area over there, but I wouldn't want to put my brand new windows in that much mud. So it feels chaotic out here.
Meanwhile, on the rest of the Lowfield Green site, the custom-built houses are going up quickly and the rest of the development is coming together nicely.
Looking through this gate, everything seems so beautiful and clean and tidy. The development out there looks posh, whereas I feel as I'm the wrong side of the grill. This is the self-built zoo in here. But look, somebody's left the gate open. I can step through and experience this perfect world of pavements and spring bulbs and playground furniture and solar panels. You see, this is what that ought to be like, isn't it, really? Except it's not. And of course, I'm not wearing the right shoes, am I? I should go back.
In York, Richard has put in a whole extra floor in his house. But he needs to find the money to fit it out. So he's had to make some radical savings.
The SIP's insulation is, give or take, enough to meet the design code.
Yes.
So there was 01, the U value underneath it, which the architect was trying to get some internal insulation.
And you just said, I don't want that, I want to save some money.
I spoke to the council, who verbally said it's fine, not to bother.
Okay. Meanwhile, Jane has got it.
I'm definitely more of a risk taker than Jane. Jane wanted to do everything by the spec.
Richard is cutting back costs in areas that you won't see, but not on the areas that'll look dramatic.
What a heroic space that is, eh? that big skylight at the top, which is going to drench the stairwell in light. It's a good height up, isn't it? You know.
Well, yeah, the top of the pitch is 9.7. It needs a good 10-metre lift. And then, of course, it's the fitting element, which is the concern.
Understandably, it's cost him £4,000, and it's a key architectural moment in the building. It's a top-of-the-range piece of glass, except he's not paying for the proper kit to install it.
I got quotes from a company about 60 miles away to come along with a proper suction lifting piece of equipment, and that all in would have been 1,200. You know, if it's doing a full house worth of windows, then it kind of makes it worth having it for a day, but probably going to be a couple of hours at most.
Instead, to install his £4,000 high-end architectural skylight, he's hired a local crane for £850 without specialist equipment. It comes only with straps.
That sits inside the wall, that sits on the latch there.
And lots of discussion about how best to fit them.
If you're lifting it on there, it's obviously going to bend that.
Yeah.
That's safe, okay? Is that the right way around?
This is why it's worth being here, because you hear all the potential issues, and if you just rock up the day after, you go, oh, that was nice.
Usually, suction clamps would hold big panes of glass like these while they're being lifted. Here, I can't see much that would stop the expensive glass from falling out. Then it's away up into the air when the wind suddenly picks up.
So I get it above scaffolding before wind blows it.
Too late.
Well, the wind's grabbed hold of it. You go hold of it for a sec, that back. Just keep hold of it a sec. That's it.
Finally, with the glass under control, they lower it into the opening in the roof.
Sat proudly in position. It fitted like a glove. It looks amazing. So worth every penny of the £4,000.
Nice. At the start of her project, Jane had to fork out an extra £10,000 for her wooden frame because of rising timber costs. The kitchen was something she could have made savings on. But after years living in a broken-down home, she's determined not to compromise on the things that really matter to her.
What's this cost?
I think it was about £34,000.
What? 35 grand all in?
Yeah.
Really?
And a table. It includes a decked table.
Oh, well, that's such good value then, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's it made from then?
This is
gold?
It's ceramic, so ceramic doors, ceramic worktop.
Ceramic?
Yeah, so really hard wearing. I don't know if it's got some fingerprint resistant coating as well.
Yes, well, my fingerprints don't seem to show on it. That's amazing.
Yeah, but this is my indulgence and my investment and my make my life easier.
Jane.
It does, on the surface, sound like an incredible amount of money.
Yeah, because I would normally spend between 5,000 and 7,000 on the kitchen. I'd expect to buy all the units in a sale. I'd probably make my own doors, buy the handles online from some cheap place, and then smash out on a tap. Yeah. You know, that's it. I would have to swallow very hard to spend that on the kitchen.
I just wanted it.
Yeah, well, good for you, girl.
This is where I spend probably 90% of my waking life.
Okay, no, I get that.
33 grand does buy you some interesting things.
That is not your standard Swedish high street.
No.
Who makes that then?
Part of the kitchen. They are quite expensive.
I'm going to check this out. Look how beautiful and thin and elegant that is. That's completely beautiful. And it's just, yeah, made out of solid oak.
Yeah.
I love that.
You'd have thought spending a large amount of money on a kitchen would buy some certainty of things going right.
I have just noticed that is supposed to be the fridge and that is supposed to be the freezer because you put your tea bag in. I don't want to go like this. Get the milk, close the door, pour it.
No. But that's going to be changed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Wait.
Richard's house, meanwhile, is catching up. The builders are working flat out fitting the plasterboard. It's promising to be a home Jane surely couldn't fail to be impressed by.
Oh, that's so good, isn't it? This is really spectacular.
Thank you.
So, oh, whose is this?
One of the child's. Child 1 and child 2 next door.
Child #1.
Yeah.
With a nice window, and they're most importantly of all, they've got their own opening skylight.
It's just a quirky shaped room. If I was a kid, I'd love this room.
Yeah, that's good though, isn't it? Because so often, even in kind of really exciting buildings, sometimes you find that the first floor bedrooms are just boxes. There's no excitement to the shape. There's no excitement to the shape of the windows. It's just a very functional room to sleep in. This is a bit more dynamic. So you'll be following through with plaster and paint and second fix.
They're both tantalisingly close to finishing their shared, long-held vision for living together in different houses.
My door's a bit stiff.
Richard wants Jane to stay at his place as much as she's keen for him to stay at hers.
But you just look at the detail on the really difficult bits, and it's amazing. Like, I've never...
It's so neat.
I'm just checking all the the socket angles, make sure they're in line with the rest of the room, because that's a big bugbear of mine. Yeah, ever since we've known each other, pretty much, we've had this goal, project, and in 3 months, surely we will be in.
You can feel what it'll be at the end, and I think that's a really nice thing.
But it still doesn't feel like real. So I can imagine being in here in, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 weeks with brushes, rollers, paint, radio blaring out, and just like, this is it. I'm actually starting the final little home run. Oils and paintbrushes. Yeah, it's within our grasp to finish it off.
The builders have now finished. They're moving on to other jobs. And Jane is still over £10,000 short to finish the project. So, armed with a bandsaw, screws and impact screwdriver, she starts the outside work herself, fixing the battens for the cladding.
This is where I'm not strong enough.
Do you find it satisfying?
Yeah, I do if I can get to the end and feel like I've done it right and done a good job.
Yeah.
But I was a little bit crestfallen the other day. Some of it's a bit, like, wobbly, so...
Shonky.
It's my hardest bit, is getting the weight behind it. So I'm hoping I can do a lot better. And I think I'll have to just go around everywhere I have done and just unscrew and retighten it.
Will you?
But then hopefully, oh yeah, I'll do
Yeah, to get it right. Yeah.
My only kind of problem now, or thing that really sort of annoys me, is that because of the planning conditions, I can only work 8 till 1 on a Saturday and not allowed to work outside of that over the weekend. And obviously I've got a full-time job, I've got kids. So I literally get half a day per week to get this job done.
So Jane brings in extra firepower.
One in the middle.
Her dad.
I started doing it myself in the summer, and then my dad came with his cape and has basically done the rest of it for me. So he's moved it forwards absolutely loads. So yeah, we're just getting the last of the render boards on the ground floor area, and then I will probably get the brick slips on this before I then pay to get scaffolding up, and then we'll do the higher levels where it'll all be rendered. He doesn't have to do any of this at all, but I really appreciate any help he does give me, and love that he's my sounding board to go to when I get stuck.
Even with Dad's help, finishing the outside promises to take a long time. Work on the interior, however, is on the home straight. Plastering. Flooring. Both Jane and Richard are closer than ever to the biggest milestone in their relationship yet.
Well, it has been a privilege to witness the evolution of Richard and Jane's relationship as they have each built their own homes here. And now that the excitement of construction and the adrenaline of the self-build process begin to drain away to be replaced by the humdrum of everyday life, all you can hope is that these two separate households in separate buildings, two families, begin to work somehow seamlessly and unthinkingly as one in some way. All you can hope is that for Richard and Jane, it all works.
Richard and Jane have pushed themselves hard to build their homes and their new lifestyle together.
Well, there you are. Two houses, two households, and I think one intact relationship.
Jane's now spent her 300 grand budget, so the outside's unfinished because she's prioritised the inside. Richard's also spent all of his 320 grand budget, leaving the exterior to concentrate on finishing the rooms on his second floor. But no matter, it's the inside of these houses and the living arrangements which I'm really interested in anyway.
Beautiful, with a huge kitchen, loads of space. And this is some kitchen. I mean, it's got posh handles which are recessed and, oh yeah, they feel good because there's a little double lip there.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And posh appliances and posh hob.
And I'd much rather have this than a nice car any day.
That is interesting. Richard, would you rather have a nice car or a nice kitchen?
I'll take the nice car.
Yeah,
And
okay.
just have a microwave.
I just come around here to eat.
I'll come out here.
As well as this remarkable kitchen, there are all manner of other interesting and unusual things to explore.
So you've each got a double cupboard? Oh, yes.
This one's mine.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got the slide and hide
Oh, yes.
doors.
It's a proper cubicle.
Yeah.
It's like when you go and rent one of those workspaces in a London kind of business centre, you know. Oh, look, you want two, Richard.
I have my own.
Side.
I can see you're flat out. Yeah. But yours is good. Look, sensible. You've got a separate screen, all touch away.
Yeah.
I wonder if Richard's properly moved in.
So, without being too delicate about it, can I just ask, where are you living, Richard? Are you here more? Are you there more? What's the deal?
I'm here when I don't have my kids.
Okay.
When I'm not working away.
That's quite a good arrangement. So when their kids are here, they've got a home, you're there.
Yeah.
It's a bit like a holiday home you go to then with your kids, is it?
It is. It's like, yeah, it's the usually quite clean and tidy house that I go back to and climb into a bed that's pretty clean.
Okay.
What are you saying?
Are you ever invited round?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I don't spend as much time there as what we probably originally thought we would. Because of something that happened, I've ended up with my kids back 100%. Obviously, now I've not got that freedom every other weekend, whereas normally we'd have drifted between the two more, I think, wouldn't we?
So we've both got keys for each other's houses. It's like when your kids can't open your front door, they come round to me and say, can you let me in at my mum's house?
Yeah. You just redefined the extended family for the 21st century. That's what you've done with the blended family.
The families can come together when they want and then retire to their own spaces. The children's rooms are extraordinary.
Oh, this is great.
It's gorgeous,
Oh,
isn't it?
it's beautiful. You're up in the canopy. And lighting's fun.
Bird's nest.
Yeah, bird's nest up in the tree.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. What a set of spaces there up here with the shapes, the recess, the blinds and the angled windows. It's just fun, isn't it? Such
I'm
fun.
not sure I would do the triangular shaped windows again because trying to dress them or get blinds for them, that was very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blind industry love them, of course, because they can charge you.
Yeah, I've had to sell a kidney to put blinds in these two top bedrooms.
Yeah. Congratulations, Jane, because it's so beautifully done.
There is something for everyone in this generous and well-appointed home.
This is Charlotte's room, I think. with, walk-in wardrobe, workstation, sofa in the bedroom. This is like a hotel. This is everything a grown-up needs. She's 16. She's set up for life.
To step into Jane's bedroom is to walk into a Mediterranean holiday home. It has a beautiful ensuite bathroom. It's clear why Richard enjoys spending so much time here. So, what's he done with his house?
It's painted, Richard. It's done.
More than that, it offers moments of awe and wonder, as when you walk into the living room.
Oh, it's just brilliant. You haven't got side windows because of the closeness of the neighbours. So actually by putting in the double height window, it allows you to get the sun in at an angle deep into the plan to track around. So you get that movement. I mean, I'm not as tall as you, but being taller, there is that constant sense in buildings sometimes, particularly modern ones, of the lowness of the ceiling, and you feel a bit repressed. And then this. It is like taking a breath of fresh air. You feel your lungs opening up almost.
Come here to take a deep breath,
Yeah. So where is the inner Richard expressed here? Is it everywhere?
I think it's everywhere. The colours, the styles, the simplicity.
I am struck how different this is from Jane's. In terms of personality, this is much more open and quite minimal.
But yeah, Jane's is all richer, sludgier colours, which, you know, they're beautiful colours and they work with Jane's house.
This is purer, as the modernists would have wanted it.
There are experiences to be had in this house in the most unlikely places.
Your staircase, now that it's finished. Oh, yes! Yes! So that, I can see sky. Oh, look, this is brilliant. This is the best way to see it, because you get to see the sky above the staircase as though you were outside, as though this were an open staircase. Like people used to build in castles and cities and tenements and inns of law, where, you know, you get the staircase winding up, it's open, it's visible to the outside world, so it's safe. And then all the interior spaces were through doors off that. This is great. It even looks exactly like one. It's just brilliant.
It's a lovely space. I love that view. Although I've never done it from that position before.
You've got to, because it's so graphic. And what makes it is not having a ceiling at the top. To have the sky there is just the best thing. Because as far as you're concerned, you're just in an open outdoor space, staring up at it. I mean, in every way, it's historically correct. It's brilliant. I love it.
For entertainment, there's a modernist games room on the top floor. Minimal darts, anyone? The kids' bedrooms are changed by their triangular shape into sculptural spaces. All in all, pretty good. But then it doesn't matter what I think.
If you walked into this house not knowing who lived here or that they built it, what would you think about them?
Oh God, just someone who's really got their life together and is very capable, and I'd just be really impressed, I think, especially if I knew it was a self-build, not that they had chosen to just move into or just buy this house like this. It's like really impressive that someone has taken it from a rectangular piece of soil and created this incredible home.
Do you feel that you've got your life together?
Yeah, pretty much, on most days.
No, because that's what I'd say about your place.
Yeah, I do.
Which suggests that you're both pretty together people.
Yeah, I do feel very resilient just from my past, and I know that no matter how hard the knocks are, you can get back up again. You know, as long as you've got your health, that's the most important thing, isn't it? And each other.
Yeah, and your family.
Yeah.
Which you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family and families. These two houses hark back to the past, to a different way of life.
150 years ago, kids were in and out of all the houses in the street. Auntie Mabel lived round the corner, Granny was over the road. We lived a much more socially mixed and accessible life. And that's what actually Richard and Jane have done here. Their blended family has resulted in them devising a way of living between two houses, which is just an updated version of how we as a society have lived for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Why not do that? I think it's brilliant. And you know why I'm stood here by myself in this living room, don't you? It's because they're all 3 doors down. Are you physically rolling up your sleeves?
Our holidays would basically be spent on the house.
You're effectively main contractor.
Yes.
Right, slow to your left.
It's not within tolerance. These do have to be fixed.
The whole portal is wrong. That's nuts.
You can see the pain. It's going to have taken its pound of flesh and then some.
A passion for self-build is sweeping the country. It started at Graven Hill in Oxfordshire, where plots of land are sold by Cherwell District Council to budding self-builders for them to realise their extraordinary visions.
Oh, I like this. Oh my goodness, I like that.
There's a brand new, exciting self-built street in York too.
A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make it your own.
There's a lot of pressure with that.
And Scotland has its first epic pilot scheme in Glasgow. Here, alongside my co-presenter, Natasha Huck.
So dramatic, and it kind of peaks to the sky.
I'll be following the adventures of the first 4 brave souls building homes here.
Wow, it's a world of wood.
On one of the biggest adventures of their lives.
Just becomes like having a home. Actually, people weren't a bit upset about it.
This time, we're at Graven Hill, following 2 heroic pioneers, Tom and Laurie, contending with every self-builder's worst nightmare.
It's not within tolerance, so there is an impact. These do have to be fixed.
In their late 30s, Tom, a chartered accountant, and Laurie, an events organiser, made a decision to move out of London to escape the anonymity of a big city.
We were just looking for a real change and somewhere where we can kind of really get to know people.
I think it'll be great to be in a place of the countryside, which is very much the surroundings I grew up in.
Look, I've made a chalkboard. What do you think? The other side is the gardening jobs.
So, they sold their home in London and moved in with Laurie's parents while they planned their self-build.
We've gone for a very kind of clean, contemporary, minimalistic kind of style. Very kind of light and open and have a kind of connection between the indoor and the outdoor spaces.
The end result sounds effortlessly elegant, unlike the process of actually building it.
I'm sure they'll find that it takes twice as long and costs twice as much as they anticipate. You have to admire them for doing it, or think they're a bit crazy.
Tom and Laurie have also taken inspiration for their design from the place they're building at, Graven Hill.
I think you can be quite surprised actually by what you end up liking, and you walk round and you see kind of all of the different houses here and think, wow, I never thought I would like that, but actually I really do.
You can just turn a corner and if you've never been here before, you don't know what is going to be behind that corner.
Do you like this?
Yeah, I like the sort of sense of movement in it and the kind of the waves of the roof. And
yeah,
I
the
really,
very dynamic chopped roof.
And I really like the corten steel.
Ah, well, it's the thing of the moment, isn't it?
The architect.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed it.
So. Really? Well, he's just
too many colours already.
He's too fed up with corten steel. So what are your interests, your shared passions, your joint enterprises?
Having friends and family over.
We need to work from home now, so we've had to bring that into the design.
We're just going for a quite clean, contemporary, minimum style.
So are you physically rolling up your sleeves? You're both working, so it's kind of hard for you to find the time, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we will be taking holidays. Our holidays will basically be spent on the house and every weekend. So I think what we've done is we haven't got a main contractor who's kind of doing it all. We've got a solo builder who's going to come in with us.
So a kind of single guy who's going to hold your hand as... You're effectively main contractor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tom and Laurie are building something original here for £680,000. Their home, built in a factory in Scotland, will arrive as pre-cut structural insulated panels, SIPs, ready to be slotted and bolted together to form a strong and thermally efficient building envelope in just a matter of days. It'll be a house of several complicated angles, with 2 wings cranked apart to allow the building to take in the best possible views of Graven Hill. It'll be finished in sharp white render and timber cladding. Inside, on the ground floor, there'll be a large double-height lobby leading to an open-plan living and kitchen area on the right. And on the other side, a downstairs bedroom, shower room, utility and plant room. Up a set of glass stairs, you'll find a living area and guest bedroom, and then across the landing, overlooking the void below, will be another guest bedroom, office, family bathroom, and finally, Tom and Laurie's main bedroom, with a balcony overlooking the hill. Their architect, who's based in Scotland, has worked hard to fit this building into its unusually shaped site.
It's on an angle corner between other plots on the side, and it has towards the north side it's got an angled boundary. The plots at Graven Hill are tight and everybody wants to get as much out of them, so we had to be clever about using every piece of usable space.
Tom and Laurie plan to be as hands-on as they can be with their project, and Alan knows all too well the challenge of the task.
Building your own home is amazing, but it's exhausting, and the biggest challenge that anybody will ever do, other than raising children, I think. You're throwing all of your money, all of your time into it, and you expect everybody to do everything perfectly, but when you're working with humans and builders and on a wet site and all these different parameters, it becomes difficult.
Tom and Laurie will be doing as much of the woodwork as they can themselves, both inside and out. And to prepare for it, Tom's booked himself in for a week's carpentry course.
If you're going to pull that saw down, turn it off, Saffron. Okay. Right.
Keeping an eye on Tom and the others on the course is a woodworking veteran of over 40 years, Ian.
That's not level at all. I have guys here for an 8-week course, which is a diploma, and even then I tell them they're not going to be a carpenter when they leave here. So get it on the top.
Ah, right, okay.
Right. So Tom's he's really pushing the boundaries on this one. You want one in the bottom first. Ah, okay.
This is Tom's first attempt at woodwork.
And that looks like too far in on the bottom.
Ian's asked him to hang a door.
No, I mean that way.
Yeah, you're hopefully not going to make as many mistakes when it will cost money to put them right.
But the time to learn is limited. Shortly after Tom finishes this course, the house will start to go up.
This is the first go. It is not easy. I think this project's a bit about proving can a couple of busy working people with obviously the right help have a go and develop something that, you know, is great. I think we are diving right into the deep end, to be honest.
Yes, you are, Tom. Tom and Laurie are building a complicated angular home. It'll be a challenge for everyone involved with it.
Self-build can be such a leap into the unknown. So it behoves you always to arm yourself with the greatest number of skills you can get your hands on, which is exactly what Tom is doing. Except there is always part of the self-build process over which you cannot gain full control. there's always one bit which will remain in the lap of the gods.
At Graven Hill, Tom and Laurie's self-build is for them a journey of a lifetime. Today's the day they've been waiting for. Their SIPS panels are arriving.
It's finally coming to life, and it's excitement, but at the same time it's a bit daunting because we know exactly what work lies ahead of us.
When we drove onto site and I saw the crane, I was just like, oh my goodness, there's no turning back now. Yeah, definitely a little lurch in my stomach for sure.
Tom and Laurie are using structural insulated panels to make the walls and roof of their home. It's clever engineering with foam.
So, time for a demonstration. This is how they make SIPS panels. 2 layers of OS board, sterling board, and a core. And the core is made from rigid polyurethane foam. Now, if I pour that in there, it looks deliciously like molasses. This looks like bleach. They start to react. I'm going to stir them. And you'll see it's clouding already. And this is what turns it into a foam. And the moment it starts to expand is when I empty the pot, and the reason for that is this liquid will expand to 18 times its volume. I've got to stick this board on top of it, and hopefully we'll end up with a sandwich. It's my very own baby SIPS panel. Look. A structural insulated panel is born. I want to take this home and look after it, add it to my collection, and become part of my family of experimental building materials.
Each of the full-size panels has a specific place in the building. Most SIPS buildings are rectangular, but the shape of this one is definitely not.
Yeah, so the setting out can be a bit tricky.
Well, this
angles.
Angles. This one's very peculiar in that way. Yeah.
They're very challenging at times, the shapes, the complexity.
Of course. Yeah, well, when you look at a building and it's done and you see the shapes and the angles, you think, well, it couldn't have been done any other way. How interesting, how wonderful. Actually, when you've just got an empty site in which you're trying to erect a set of components, it's another matter, isn't it? The setting out in space is a conceptual challenge.
The groundworks are not being laid out by Graven Hill, but by another company. Precision is important.
I'm definitely feeling a mixture of excitement, but also quite anxious and nervous about the whole thing.
Right, slow to your left.
This is obviously kind of the biggest part.
Right, then you go.
Actually seeing the shape of the house going up and making sure that that's all okay. So hopefully after the next 2 weeks, I feel a little bit more relaxed.
Sort of coming along quickly, isn't it?
I can't believe it's come up so quick.
A week later, and the first floor is up. The builders are lifting the great slabs of SIPS roof in. With all those difficult angles, I'm expecting the worst.
So where are the glitches? Like, are there any bits that kind of just, like, is there a beam hanging in space that nobody knows what it's for?
Not yet.
No, it's gone up pretty smoothly. Like, one of the reasons for choosing SIPS was that it is engineered, it's designed. There should be no surprises when you get to site, and by and large, that's what's happened.
Inside, the spaces that are forming are tantalizingly good.
Standing here, I think I can almost see your entire ground floor. Is that right?
Yeah.
So is this the car?
That's the carport.
Carport garage here.
Yeah.
Covered. That's very posh. Most people just leave their car parked outside in the rain. Walk straight in from there into?
So this is our sort of open plan kitchen, living room space. So we'll have the kitchen here.
Nice.
Dining.
The workaday, quite, routine activities which you do in the house. Ordinarily, mean the kitchen gets placed next to the garage, with a view of the dustbins. But here, you've done something, actually, I think is rather beautiful. It's just to be able to glance up the hill.
Yeah, no, it'll be really nice. You can do the washing up while you're staring
Yeah,
out into the
exactly.
distance. Yeah.
So what's over on the other wing, on the other side of this little courtyard?
Got sort of double height above the front entrance with some big skylight, and so there'll be sort of L-shaped glass balustrade, so that space will be completely kind of open.
Man, wow.
Yeah.
You look a little bit nervous about that.
Yeah, I'm just adding up the figures in my head.
Ah, yeah.
Like,
There's the
is it gonna
banker.
work?
It's the accountant in you.
It is.
A month later, a team start work on fitting the beautiful zinc roof. And the spectacular glass roof lights have arrived.
And there's literally nothing you can do at this point if it started slipping. Great to have them up and in, stop a bit of rain.
Know that they're safe up there rather than potentially getting damaged downstairs.
They're not quite safe yet, but
they will be.
There are so many tricky angles. So in preparation for the woodwork inside, Tom's making a detailed carpenter's assessment, checking everything is where it should be. Only to find...
This wall of the right-hand side of the carport was up to 70 mil out, so you should have the kit sitting pretty much flush to the edge of that.
The SIPS panel isn't sitting as snugly as it should on the foundations.
It's not within tolerance. The sort of knock-on is that it creates issues for building out the carport, and obviously on the inside we will have lost a bit of floor space.
The more Tom looks, the more he uncovers.
On the joist, so you'll note here that there's quite a big gap, so they've all got to be replaced. It's going to be disruptive.
The problems he's found are significant.
At the moment, if we didn't do them, we wouldn't get the 10-year warranty. So there is an impact. These do have to be fixed.
What a horrible discovery. SIPs are a building technology that many people choose precisely because it's easy to build with.
But a SIPs frame should just go...
Oh, that's the theory behind it.
So what was wrong with the groundworks?
Most walls are probably between 30 and 70 mil out, so...
Is this because of the setting out of that cranked shape?
I think, yeah, because of the different angles. There's one wall that's sort of, they got that angle wrong, and then that's kind of offset.
The frame should never have been put up with the slab being that far out, so it's on them to fix it.
Yeah, I think the thing is now, we are where we are, and we need to have the solutions to fix the problems.
What's the phrase that's the opposite of a stitch in time saves nine?
Whatever it is.
Oh, block work wrong, don't carry on.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is. It needs another line, though.
Block work wrong, don't go on. Groundworks angled, building mangled.
At Graven Hill, the SIPS panels don't align with Tom and Laurie's dream, or their groundworks. It's all causing headaches for the window installers.
It's too tight.
5 mil.
It's a 5 mil out. Yeah. They don't fit. The SIPS is probably 6 or 8 mil, slightly out of plumb.
The structure can't be altered, so they have to adjust the windows by sawing them down. Yikes. The SIPS company have returned to help fix the problems.
The SIPS panel company are on site correcting the issues identified with the frame.
They can't remove all the ill-fitting joists, so they've decided to add an extra support beam below.
There's just one bit on the balcony I just wanted to show you. Okay. Yeah, no rush.
Yeah, we do care. We're not a fly-by-night that we just put the kit up, best we can, then we not come back to any small issues. So we do want to leave a good job. I believe we do leave a good job in all our projects. It's just a bit frustrating at times.
They can't move the wall that's 70 millimetres out, but all the bits they can fix, they address.
I thought you were getting the hang of this.
I'm just double checking everything, Frank.
Having sorted what they can, the Sips company leave. Now Tom and Laurie and their builder Damien take over. They start by taping up the frame to make it airtight.
So basically you have to seal up all of the external joints in the kit. It's a very laborious job.
But worth it, because a week later, outside and in, this building is already turning into something of real quality at Graven Hill.
So where are we standing? Landing?
Upstairs living room.
Big skylight.
Yeah.
Oh, two of them?
I mean, the architect lined them up for the window, but...
Oh, yeah, so the ground floor window pops up, emerges the first floor, and then sort of wraps over, doesn't it? Nice angle. I know it's cost you so much grief, this angle.
A little bit, yeah.
That tape's really bugging me. Is that an optical illusion? Is some of these running at weird angles? It looks like it's sort of doing that. Is that right?
It's probably
your imagination.
Slightly the tape,
is it
possibly slightly our application.
If it is my eyes, then I need to go and see a head doctor, not an optician. I think it's to do with the fact the pattern on it is running at an angle, which leads the eye off.
But it'll shortly be covered by VCL, so we'll never see it again.
Good. Begone, mind-bending tape. The vapour barrier comes as a welcome relief. And it's up to our first-time builders to fit it under the watchful eyes of their contractor, Damien.
OK, so I'll put the first ones in. And roll it out.
Do you want me to put some here or not? Or are we just we're cutting it there?
What I'm going to do is come back and cut it.
OK.
Laurie is throwing herself into the task at hand.
I am stretching the tape out to make sure there aren't too many sort of air bubbles in it, and it's as tight as it can go to the wall.
With the membrane on, the next stage is to fix the wooden battens on which the plasterboard will sit. Now, the student becomes the master.
Do you want me to do anything?
It would be great if you want to
No.
do some. Yeah.
What?
It all needs to be done. If you could start in the corner, Kevin.
The
And
hard place.
the other on this wall, bit in the corner.
See why I'm not asked ever to do anything. I want to do this one.
Yeah.
It's straightforward.
Start with that one. That's
I don't
fine.
want my first one to be the wonky one.
So you can use the nail gun just to tack it on. So,
OK, I'll reach over,
Yeah.
holding it with my foot. This is where the third arm's really useful, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
if you put like
these
one at
I'm
the
really
top,
scared
one
of.
I like this tool.
You
I
like
think
this
it's
tool?
Fun.
It's fun, isn't it? I'm very happy with the chainsaw. And yet, I really don't like nail guns.
Okay.
So that's roughly centred on the...
Yeah,
there we
on
go.
the line.
So just anywhere.
If you put it at the top about 4 inches down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the idea. Roughly tack it in, but do it 4 inches from the top. Right. Now it is squeeze, do I?
Yeah.
I really don't like these machines.
Yeah. There you go.
I have to say that was quite satisfying. I love the fact that I'm getting an elementary lesson in self-build from you. But that's the point, Laurie, is that you're already super empowered, because you do talk like a seasoned builder now, and you do have all these skills.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a massive learning curve, and sometimes you feel like you do have it and you've got it and you know what you're talking about, and other times you feel like you still don't have a clue. But yeah, you know when you've had a good day.
Laurie and Tom's skill will soon be put to the test. They've been trying for months to get a date for their concrete screed, and finally they have one, in a week.
If you want to give this a sweep.
So they bring in friends to help.
All right, let's see if we can get this in.
and they'll need to work fast.
We're laying the insulation on the slab, ready for the screed to be poured. There's a bit of time pressure, and it's just one of those tasks where much quicker if there's more than one of you, so there we go. Perfect. More enjoyable for us. Not sure if it's their idea of a good Saturday, but...
Not really my usual thing, but yeah, it's good to learn. Try.
So they get to work.
There we go. This is excellent. Yeah, it's because it's sort of like...
What does that little note on the whiteboard say, Tom? Maintain quality of workmanship.
Which we are.
It's repetitive, tiring work.
It's nice to have some company while we're doing it. Yes, we don't have much of a social life. We've just been hearing about all the nice things these guys have been doing in London while we're here.
After a day of hard labouring, the insulation is down. But there's one final thing that needs to go in before the concrete floor is poured. The stairs, put in by Phil and Pete.
I've been assured by Phil it will all be done in a day.
The skeleton for these is made from thick, heavy steel.
Now, this is where we drop something and put it through a window or something stupid.
Difficult to lift, but satisfying to hit. However, it's pre-made in a factory, and with all the problems Tom and Laurie have had with the angles of the building, halfway up, there's an issue.
Well, you see, we're half a hole out, but it's just such a tight fit that bashing it's no good. It just bounces off. So we're going to employ our friend Jack, who will, in theory, either push the wall over or push the stair back. One of the other. So be warned. Right, ready?
Yeah.
What's it doing?
Oh.
They line up yet?
Go a little bit more.
Hang on. It's kind of it.
It's coming down. Whoa, hang on. That's it.
With that, the rest of the staircase goes in effortlessly.
Hey!
They're looking great. They're pretty good. Not going to sound like that one, are you?
No, don't worry. No, there'll be plenty of things to stop that from happening.
Now the stairs are in. The concrete floor can be poured and then polished. Classy and high-end. While outside, things aren't quite coming together in the way Tom and Laurie had hoped. In the chain of people involved in designing and making the building's aluminium trims, something's got missed.
We ordered some aluminium surrounds, and what's turned up doesn't fit.
This thing?
Yeah, it should be wrapping around.
It should do that?
Yeah, exactly that, yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit small.
I'd say it's less than half, but...
Oh, my, that's the whole thing, the whole portal is wrong.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It could take weeks to get the surround remade and resent.
Our initial hope to make it look somewhat straightforward has fallen well and truly by the wayside, so...
Yeah.
You can see the pain. I think, yeah, it's going to be a great build, but it's going to have taken its pound of flesh and then some.
But this is the adventure. This is like sailing the boat across the Atlantic, you know? The boat that isn't quite large enough, man enough to do the job, but it's nevertheless, it's what you know, and it bruises you and it knocks you about. It's getting there, it's the adventure which is the exciting bit.
For now, though, the knocks continue. Tom's putting his carpentry skills to the test, fixing the larch cladding in -4 degrees, while he also wrestles with a major problem with the kitchen.
But then we've got a bit of concern over the kitchen. That was initially due in September, which was pushed back to the end of November, before sort of finally being kicked into first week of January. Popped over to see them, and I think he's probably struggling a bit financially as well, so yeah, ultimately it might not turn up.
Tom and Laurie have been unlucky to suffer more uncertainty, more difficulty than many I've seen self-build. But they are driven by every tiny triumph and by their vision.
God, look at all the wherefore up there, all those bits, wires and cables, switches and ducts. But what you don't expect to find is this, a big sheet of aspirational images of the house produced by the architects. And the point of this, in the midst of all the trials and the tribulations that Laurie and Tom have had to face, this reminds everybody of where they're supposed to be going. This isn't just a set of ideal images. This is the destination.
And it will be beautiful. A team are finishing the micro-cement in the bathroom. Layers of cement sanded and sealed to look like marble. While Laurie tackles the mind-numbing business of painting.
I've done quite a bit of decorating before, sort of know what I'm doing. It's just a lot of house to do.
But there is good news. There's been an important delivery downstairs.
So, kitchen is...
Yeah, something's turned up.
Oh, yeah, it's very nice, very solid. It's proper plywood. It's not your standard chipboard. So, nice job. But it actually, bits of it have arrived.
Yeah, it's been a journey, shall we say.
Yeah. Are they a limited company?
They are, yeah.
And is it in administration?
Yeah, worse, it's in liquidation, but...
OK. What a lucky escape.
It's been, yeah, massively fortunate. I was pretty convinced we were not going to see anything.
Me too.
Credit to them, they've pulled out all the stops for this, and the quality is very, very high.
I just hope the other half of it turns up. It's exciting. Everywhere there are hints of greatness to come.
Imagine that I am Tom or Laurie and I'm carrying a tray of heavy food or a pile of washing from the laundry around the house. My hands are full and I need to turn the lights on in the hall, and all I do is this. With my elbow, look. Or this is a bronze switch. Beautifully made. That's genius, isn't it? It's also a beautiful thing to look at and incredibly thoughtful. And it demonstrates to me just how important it is to put in things of real quality that are properly crafted, that have to function on a day-to-day basis, that you touch. And be it a handrail or a bath or a tap or a light switch, the more well-made it is, the better quality it is, the more thoughtfully designed it is, the more it is going to give you back, the more the building will return all the effort and investment you have put into it. Ooh, that's a nice tap. Ooh, look at this. Oh, that's nice.
Tom and Laurie have worked themselves to the bone for 2 years to get their house finished.
You know, that house, now that the fencing has come down, looks the real business. It's almost like a little slice of streetscape from Sweden or somewhere. It's a great building.
In fact, it's rather stand out at Graven Hill. A sculptural and playful addition to the street, Scandi style.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Hi, Kevin.
How are you both?
Yeah, good.
Good
And
to
yourself?
see you. The house looks exquisite. I mean, so sharp and finished and crystal. It's lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Although it kind of seems to be almost 3 buildings.
Yeah, some people have said, is it 2 houses?
Yeah. Well, that's a nice way of thinking of it. It divides itself kind of rationally. One wing does, it's like guest wing, there's the main bit over here, there's the service bit in the middle, you know, we see through. So there's a sort of logic, I understand, to it. It turns a larger mass into a sort of set of smaller, more modest shapes and units.
Yeah.
So how do people describe your house?
I think they like the features, so the surrounds around the window up there that sort of projects out of the wood cladding.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then matches the
Yes.
goalposts here at the front.
There's lots going on. Also, it's texturing on the building too. Mixture of render and timber and glass and zinc. It makes it quite, it's very rich.
There are riches inside too.
Oh,
Welcome.
thank you.
The hallway is a light, airy void of luminous walls, timber, steel, and this stuff.
Oh, it's like the surface of the moon. It's beautiful. It's like little pock marks, little craters almost. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we really like it.
I think the best polished concrete floors are like when the sea leaves a flat sand bay behind, you know, and you're just walking on this perfect sand,
Yeah.
which somehow is watermarked by what's gone. It's beautiful. That's what you've got here.
Tom and Laurie had half a kitchen before. They're in luck. They now have the whole thing.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, we were really keen. It was his work was fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to make in plywood, quite another to get the edge, and quite another again to make a set of cupboard fronts or drawer fronts, all of which have continuous
all from
grain.
The same, yeah.
Yeah. Suddenly, it starts being a piece of cabinetry as opposed to some sheets of plywood. Can we play?
Yeah,
Go
of
for
course.
Ordinarily, if it's just a kit from a standard kitchen company, there's not much fun, but when it's handmade,
And you put all these nice little dovetails in.
oh yes, quick, let's stop. Let's not eat breakfast. Let's just stop to admire the dovetails at the side of the drawers. Wow, I love that. You can always spot a minimal kitchen because the toaster's in a drawer.
Yeah.
These are handles that match your light switches.
They are.
Not many kitchen companies can do that.
Yeah.
The kitchen also offers Tom something he hasn't had in the last 18 years.
What I really like is the view out of the kitchen window here. So I grew up in the countryside, and having lived in London for a number of years, which was as far removed as you could get, moving to a bit more of a rural location sort of brings back those memories, and we can just gaze out whilst washing up and look out over the hill.
And what about you, Laurie? Did you...
I'm a city person.
Oh, you don't care about the view.
Yeah. No, I do. I love it. No, I think for me it's really nice to have that blend because she's still going into London, so being able to go in, get everything that it has to offer, but then coming back home here is really lovely. And it's so quiet. Sometimes you think you're the only one living here. You get deer coming down in the wood. It's really nice.
That direct contact with the natural world is amplified by this building.
Oh, big, big, light and bright.
Yes.
Helped by this staircase, which is light. It looks lightweight, but I know there's a lot of steel in it. And also this transparent handrail. This is beautiful.
The hall and staircase are all about light and connection.
These are not openers?
No.
That's not an opener?
That is
an opener. That does open.
That is an opener?
Yeah. Do you want to
How the
open it?
heck? What do you do? Must be motor. It is.
I mean, glacially slow. Yeah.
Thunderbirds are ventilated. Oh, but guys, so worth it. All this is so worth it. That T-shaped beam, the way it's hidden, masked by that slope, which is diagonally kind of tied back to the walls. I mean, all of this looks like it's like being an origami bird that's about to fly off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of angles going on.
Yeah, it's quite origami and quite powerful for that.
They are fascinating, but the shapes aren't just there for show. This angled house cleverly makes spaces easier to use.
I stand here in the kitchen, overlooking the living room, the dining space, master of all I survey. And that's partly because of the shape of the room. It's narrow at one end and really broad at the other because of the cranked nature of the building. But here, you see, in the kitchen, that's helpful because I'm never more than a metre away from where I need to be. The sink, the cooker, the hob, the fridge. Moving out, however, I'm drawn into the larger space, past a dining table which capaciously seats six. And then the sitting room, vast, expansive, relaxing, which is exactly as it should be.
The overall effect of the angles is that this light-filled building seems to be gently breathing, though there is relief in the darker, polished spaces. Bathrooms are like cool stone caves. And their main bedroom?
Oh, this is lovely. I mean, one big wall of glass, but actually the room itself is just clean and bright and white, with a great big beam running across the top of it. And of course, unlike most first floor rooms, this hasn't got just a flat ceiling. It's not just a plain box. It's got a big pointy ceiling. There's interest. Oh, and colour.
And mind-melting shapes on the floor. An optical illusion as old as Pompeii, and perhaps a graphic reminder that self-build is rarely as simple as it seems, especially when it comes to building with shapes.
Were the angles worth it?
They didn't feel like they were worth it for 99% of the build, but yes, now it's finished. Your eye just travels and it's constantly looking around at the different shapes that evolves over the day when there's sunlight, from the morning to the evening. So, it does now, but for so much of it, it just felt like the worst decision we'd made.
Yeah. And like the use of the plot as well, how kind of, we obviously talked about how the shape of the building kind of speaks to the hill and the environment around it, and also in terms of how it sits on the plot.
It does sit really nicely, I think partly to do with the hierarchy of the two sizes of the two bits. And it's terrific.
All the problems with the building have been well and truly fixed. Now they can sit back and enjoy all their angled home has to offer, as it takes advantage of the best views of Graven Hill.
It's a very nice thing. The hill, the forest, the woodland beyond. It's almost exactly 50-50 land and sky, with a very slight diagonal line of the hill just to break it up. Be honest, Tom, how often do you find the time to sit here and enjoy this view?
This is the first time. It's glorious, just sat down. But no, I think going forward, it would be great to break up the workday and just occasionally come out here for half an hour on the laptop and have that as a view rather than...
On the laptop? No, laptop, leave downstairs.
Where better to enjoy this remarkable woodland television than in a setting where every detail has been considered and care lavished?
You've got seamless glass balustrade, you've got beautiful fixtures and fittings, you've got fabulous windows, you've got beautiful... And there's nothing here that's skimped. There's nothing here which appears to me to be not the deliberate first choice. Look, I'm never more than a reach away from a posh switch in this house.
You're not, but then equally, everywhere you look, you'll see repurposed floorboards from the stairs, which came at the wrong size, so we kept them, and they've gone everywhere, so it's...
Yes, but isn't that correct? Isn't that how we should all build anyway?
Absolutely.
You know, that's how an architect would build their own home, and therefore we should all be doing that.
Spare floorboards on the window seat, like...
The best possible solution, because then you get the continuity of material.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it.
Through recycling, wasting nothing, and the sheer amount of work they've done themselves, They've come in under their £680,000 budget, despite all the problems they've had.
And it has been a pain.
Yeah, like we can't hide behind that one, and I certainly would hope most people can avoid the level of issues we had.
It definitely was fun in parts, like the actual physical, like building and doing bits ourselves when you weren't stressing about things. When things were going smoothly, it was fun.
Those are, of course, the moments to remember, helped, I imagine, by the beauty that they worked so hard to surround themselves with.
That's lovely, quiet. But then this whole house is lovely, isn't it? Has none of the silliness and nonsense of so many modern buildings. And yet at the same time, it has all of the architectural values you expect. It's really well built. It's beautiful inside and out. It has the most fantastic layout, ergonomically really well organized. It has high ceilings and connection and light and space and delight and craftsmanship. I could go on, you know? Oh, and by the way, it is almost nearly zero carbon. Wow. What more could you want? This is an experimental building.
Yeah.
Yep, stand up.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see the thing go up.
First one.
Oh, I feel like I'm making history with you then. Everybody's just waiting for me to do something badly. But actually, I can do this.
It's bloody cool.
So what happens when you put a grand piano on the first floor?
To check that.
But there is a bit of
movement.
A little bit of a spring.